Okay, so today, let's review a little bit from yesterday. First of all, the standard form of the equation of a line. AX plus BY equals C. Remember, A and has to be greater than or equal to 0. So in other words, what does A have to be? Positive. Yep. A and B are not both 0. Because this is the thing, if they were both 0, you would get 0 over here and equals a number. You can't do that. And then A, B, and C are integers with the GCF of 1, which basically means that A, B, and C can't be divided by the same number. Okay, so they only have a GCF of 1. So let's review a little bit, and let's start with this. Is this a linear equation? So does this fit the picture, AX plus BY equals C? Or could it fit the picture, AX plus BY equals C? So could we manipulate it so that it would fit that equation? Yes or no? So let's see what you got. Yes, good. This is a linear equation. And so now the second part of this question is we need to write this in standard form. So remember, yes. What? So now in standard form, that means I need to have AX plus BY equals C. But we also know that X's term has to be positive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to move the 5X to the left. All right, I'm going to leave the 5X alone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by subtracting 2. So I end up getting Y minus 2 equals 5X. Now what do we need to do to put that in standard form? Divide. Subtract Y. So on the left, what are you left with? Negative 2 equals 5X minus Y. There you go. That is in standard form. Now for those of you, and this is still an option, so that's why we're going to look at this again. For those of you that would maybe forget that A can't be 0, and so you start and say, you know what, I'm going to subtract 5X. And over here, you end up getting Y minus 5X equals 2. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I have to have X first. So really then I get negative 5X plus Y equals 2. And then you're like, oh, crud, I forgot. The X term has to be positive. What's an easy way that I can make X positive here? What's an easy way to make that positive? Divide by negative 1. So in order to get rid of that negative and make it positive, I'm going to switch this sign, I'm going to switch this sign, and I'm going to switch this sign. So you end up getting 5X plus negative Y, which is the same thing as minus Y, equals negative 2, which is the same thing. But you can see this is a little more work, but if it makes more sense to you, that's fine. Okay, there's 2 ways to solve that. All right, let's try another one. Is that a linear equation? Yes or no? Is that a linear equation? Yes or no? No. Why is it not a linear equation? Because it has what? Has X squared. Remember, the original equation for a linear equation, AX plus BY equals C. You have a squared here. So that is not a linear equation. Okay, let's look at this one. Is that a linear equation? Yes or no? Be careful here. Yes. Okay. Reason being, this has an X, it doesn't have a Y, but remember, Y could be 0, that number in front. So now our next task, write this in standard form. So standard form, AX plus BY equals C. So basically the X's and the Y's are on one side, the numbers are on the other. What's the first thing you're going to do here? Okay, yeah, I could do that. I'm going to do something else first, and then I'll subtract 5. Let's subtract 5 first. I think that would make a little bit more sense. And so I end up getting 1/4 x equals -5. And now, Lane, what are we gonna do? Multiply by 4, because remember, one of our rules is that it had to be an integer, and 1/4 isn't an integer. So multiply this by 1/4, you get that? X equals what? -20. So that is in standard form. Okay, questions? Is that starting to be a little more clear? Yeah.
Was there some rule about you couldn't have fractions or something? What was that whole thing?
It said A, B, and C had to be integers.
So in standard form, they have to be integers?
In standard form, they have to be integers. Okay, so is that a linear equation? Yes or no? No. Why is it not a standard equation for those that answered no? Can't have this. Okay. Now, I could have, if I would get rid of that y, and I would have y equals x plus 3, that's a linear equation. But remember, by putting that second y in with the x, that doesn't work. Okay. Does that make a little bit more sense about linear equations? Think you got a better grasp on those? Okay, let's try that one. Ooh, is that a linear equation? I threw this one in. This is just to see. I don't think you're going to have any on your homework like this, though. I just wanted to see how you would do. Let's see. Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, this is why it is not. If you didn't catch this yesterday, one of the things I said, remember you couldn't have an x and a y. You couldn't have like a squared term. And you also couldn't have a variable in the denominator. Okay, this is in the denominator, so this actually isn't a linear. But that, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. I just threw that one in there. You can have it in the numerator, just not in the denominator. All right. Okay, so now, let's look at this. This is a review from yesterday as well. Graph using the x and the y intercepts. So, to find the x-intercepts, what do?
You make y 0.
You let y equal 0. Good. So I'm going to let y equal 0. So that means I've got 3x minus 4 times 0 equals 12. What's 4 times 0?
0.
0. So I end up getting 3x to do what? Equal 12. So then what does x equal?
4.
4. For those of you wondering, how did you get 4? Remember, we just divide each of these by 3. So I'm going to come over here to my graph, and I'm going to put a dot where, if I'm here at the origin? 4 which way?
Right.
Right. Good. So I'm going to put it on the x-axis. Okay, remember again, our x-axis is here, our y-axis is here. So now we need to find the y-intercepts. So to find the y-intercepts, we let x equal 0. So I end up having 3 times 0 minus 4y equals 12. So what's 3 times 0? 0. So that's basically gone. So I end up getting negative 4y equals 12. What do you do now? Divide by negative 4. What does y equal? Negative 3. So where am I going to put a dot if I'm here at the origin? Down 3. What are you going to do with those 2 dots now? Connect the dots. There you go, with an line. Okay. So now, that is how you do that with the intercepts. Okay, so we've looked at linear equations, we've looked at intercepts. Is that a little bit clearer? All right, now we're going to look at how you do a table. Now, if you remember, if we had a fraction, we want multiples of the denominator. I don't have a fraction here. So since I don't have a fraction here, I'm going to use 0, 1, and 2. Just because the smaller numbers you have, the smaller your answers are going to be, and it's going to be a little easier. You don't have to draw a big graph then. So x is 0. I'm going to plug 0 up here for x. So I end up getting 2 times 0 minus y equals 2. So what's 2 times 0?
0.
So I end up getting 0, which means it's not there really. So I end up getting negative y equals 2.
Change that to -2.
Change that to -2. So basically I could divide by -1, which that's the fast way. So I've got a point at 0, -2. So from the origin here, x is 0. I'm going to go down 2. There's your point. This is what I want you to do at your tables right now. I want you to do the 1 and the 2. I'm going to find somebody to come up and do each of those and put a dot on the graph.
I have a question. On the homework, on it, problem that you could do
But X is 1. So it'd be 2 minus 5. Yeah.
So I need you to find
Wait, 2 times 1 minus y.
the 1 and the 2. Bless you.
Okay, good. Okay. 2 times 2. Minus 1 equals 2.
We're bonding with other people.
We changed the points.
So why you already think you have the first one? Okay, so are you gonna go up and add?
Yeah.
Put
John
that down
Downey.
there?
Since you
You're a
did it all.
spokesperson.
Just one of them? This is the first one, 1. So tell me in the chart what 1 is and then plot the point.
Don't do it in orange.
1, 0?
That's not a dot. It's like if I form a dot. Oh.
Okay, so real quick, this is where you should be.
She got it.
She knew what she was doing.
Somebody got the next one?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, because Clay's such a giant.
2, 2. 2, 2.
That's 3.
2, 2. 2, 2. There you go.
But you know what 2 2
Good
is.
job. All right, so there you go. There are the 3 dots. 0, -2, 1, 0, and 2, 2. And then the last and final step is just to go ahead and draw a line through those. And there you go. So that's how you solve by making a table. So we've reviewed how to determine if it's a linear equation, write it in standard form. We've looked at how to graph using x and y intercepts. We've now looked at how to graph by using a table. Okay? The last thing we're going to cover is one thing we didn't get to yesterday. Something you probably want to write down in your notes. And that's what the equation of a vertical and a horizontal line looks like. If you have a straight vertical line, that's a line that goes up and down. For those of you that don't know, vertical means up and down. That equation will be x equals some number. So when we say a here, a actually means some number. So it might be x equals 1, x equals -2, x equals 0. So those are all examples. So examples would be x equals 1, x equals -2, x equals 5. So those are all examples of vertical lines. Now whatever value it is, that's where the vertical line is located. So if it's 1, it's going to be located here at 1, and you're going to have a vertical line. If it's -2, you're going to go to -2, and you'll draw a vertical line. If it's 5, you're going to go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. which is right here. You'll draw a vertical line. So every vertical line has the equation x equals. Now a horizontal line, on the other hand, horizontal means it goes this way, like the horizon. If you ever get confused about those, vertical, if you think about it, usually means up. Horizontal is like the horizon, okay, that the sun comes up over the horizon. Once again, that equation there, y equals some number, that is what b is. And so an example would be, let's pick a different color, y equals 3. So these would be examples. Y equals 3, y equals 0, y equals -3. So from the origin, you're going to go to y equals 3, which is up here. Y equals 0 means you're going to stay put and you're going to draw the line right here. So yes, you can draw it on the axis. And then y equals -3, you're going to go down here to -3 and draw a line in. So that's all you have to do when they ask about a vertical or horizontal line. Okay. Is there an easy way to remember which one is which? Okay. So vertical x, horizontal y. This is how I always remembered it. Okay, I look at these. The h and the y have the tails. They have the lines from them. The x and the y are the short letters. They don't have the tails. They don't have the lines. Okay, I know that sounds kind of corny, but that's what works for me. You might have something that works for you. Okay, so graph. X equals 3. A very easy problem. What type of line is x? Vertical. So we're looking for a vertical line. So all I'm going to do here is start at the origin. And I'm going to go to x equals 3. So how do I go x equals 3?
3 to the right.
3 to the right. And you're going to then draw a vertical line through that. Oops, little off there. So we'll go ahead and move that over just a hair off. There. And there's your line. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do a table or any of that. Very easy. Let's look at the next one. Graph y equals -2. What type of line?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. So I'm going to do a, first of all, need a pen there. I'm going to do a horizontal line. So from the origin, I need to go to where y equals -2. So where will that be? Down 2. So I'm going to go down 2 here. I'm going to go ahead and then draw my line in. And there you go. So that's all you have to do there. Okay, your assignment. Yeah, I got a question?
When you last night, like x equals something,
Mhm.
you said make a table.
Nope, I don't want you to do that. I want you to just graph it. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I'm right now going to give you a worksheet. This worksheet is due tomorrow. This is the one I want you to worry about. Okay, this is what I want you to hand in at the start of class tomorrow. This is what's going to go in the grade book for section 3-1. All right, as the homework for section 3-1. Okay, so tomorrow, the section 3-1 worksheet is due, start of class.